Oklahoman Newsroom, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Tramel. Barry, it is college football bowl time, or at least that's what we're saying, because now the regular season is over and it's time to head full throttle into the postseason. And obviously we've got a lot to talk about with OU, OSU getting some really stellar assignments. Obviously a little disappointment that OU's not playing right down the road in Arlington, but you can't complain. You're in the playoff. You get to go play Clemson with a chance to win a national championship. And Barry, I mean, this team's playing as well as anybody in the country. They have to like any assignment they got. Well, I mean, when people say what kind of chances OU have, I say 25%, along with all the other three teams. I mean, you got 2 toss-up games. The winners go play another toss-up game. So, I mean, this is what playoffs about. So, yeah, you'd rather play down at the Cotton Bowl, but you know, it's not like the Sooners have never been to the Orange Bowl. It's not like Oklahoma doesn't have a long, rich, fabulous tradition of going to Miami and playing big-time games down there. So, yeah, it's a great assignment. Oklahoma-Clemson will be a fabulous game, and this is exactly all you could ask for. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I think there are obviously going to be concerns for Oklahoma going against Clemson. I think Deshaun Watson is a guy that's unlike any quarterback they've seen to this point. Even that good run of November wins that they had, they didn't play a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. The guy is fantastic. He, as a passer, fantastic as a runner. He's a dual threat in a way that you don't really see a lot of. I mean, sort of Johnny Manziel-like numbers. So I think that's a concern. But, Barry, there's got to be things about OU that Clemson has to be concerned about heading into this game. Well, yeah, I mean, when you think about trying to, if you're Clemson getting ready for OU, you're talking about a team with a power running game, Samaje Perine, but you're also talking about your own Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield. So you got a spread air raid team that also has a power running back, guy that's rushed for over 3,000 yards already in 2 years. So, I mean, Clemson's not sitting there thinking, good for us, we got Oklahoma. Everybody's in the hurt locker in this playoff. So nothing easy. It'll just come down to whoever plays better, and that's the way it ought to come down to. You know, too much of college football is manufactured scheduling. You know who you're going to beat. You know, 2 or 3 games be tough. And once you get to the playoffs, nothing manufactured. You just got to win. All right, early predictions. Who you got winning in Miami, who you got winning in Arlington? Well, in Arlington, I like Michigan State. You know, I've heard. I don't think they're going to be scared by Alabama. I mean, Michigan State's got them a ball team. Mm-hmm. You know, they went to Columbus and gave up, was it 5 first downs to Ohio State? I mean, this is a team that can play. Mm-hmm. And I think they're a little bit savvy. And I like their quarterback, too. I like everything about their team, including their uniforms. I mean, what more could you ask for in the Christmas season, red versus green? So I like Michigan State. I don't know yet on OU Clemson. Last year, I was very confident that the Sooners would rise from the ashes of Bedlam, beat the Clemson second-team quarterback, and the Sooners came within 35 points of doing exactly that. So I don't know yet. I'm gonna withhold my judgment on OU Clemson. All right. You know, I think Alabama's going to beat Michigan State, but I think it's going to be a heck of a game. And my feeling right now is I'm going with OU down in the Orange Bowl, but I'm not setting anything in stone yet for any of those games. But I agree with you. These are 4 really good teams. They all have positives. They all have a few negatives. So there's no sort of for sure in this playoff in my mind. That's the great thing about, like what you said. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm honestly, I could see any of the 4 beating each other and then winning the championship, and that's really kind of cool. So we'll see how it all plays out. All right, let's talk about the Sugar Bowl too, Barry. We don't want to overlook the Cowboys because they get into one of the Big 6 bowls with that amazing Texas upset of Baylor, which none of us expected to happen, and lo and behold, it did. So Cowboys headed to New Orleans to take on Ole Miss. Is this a good matchup for the Cowboys? I think it's a fine matchup. I mean, if you want to play in the Sugar Bowl, you're going to run into a good team. That's sort of if you want to rum-dum, go to the Cactus Bowl. So Ole Miss is the second best team in the SEC. Do you know how close the Ole Miss came to playing for the SEC title? That 4th and 25 conversion by Arkansas. If the Razorbacks don't do that, Alabama wins the SEC. I mean. Ole Miss wins the SEC West. And let's remember what that was. That was a guy that is about ready to get tackled. He just throws the ball over his head. I mean, Mississippi's really good. But the Cowboys, until those last 2 losses, had won 12 straight. OSU has a really good team. Mm-hmm. Now, the history says that OSU struggles with Ole Miss. We saw it in 2 straight Cotton Bowl matchups between them, 03-09. Mm-hmm. Eli Manning beat the Cowboys in 03. Then we had the defensive slugfest down in 09.
21-7 Mississippi. It's time for the Cowboys.
I like to think of that more as offensive ineptness, but I mean defensive battle if you want.
Whatever it was. It's time for OSU to win one of these. It'd be great for the Cowboys. It'd be great for the Big 12, and it would be nice for all of college football to see the SEC get brought down a notch, which frankly it already has with this season. It's not been a great year for the SEC. If that continues into bowl season, that's good for everybody.
Well, and the Big 12 could really benefit from OSU playing well as well, winning this game. I mean, the Big 12 obviously stumbled last year in bowl games, all bowl games practically. I think won only 2 of the bowl games they were in. Not a good showing by the Big 12. That's the sort of thing that people remember, especially if you do it again. So you want to win as many of these games, especially when you talk about going against the SEC. This is the first time this Sugar Bowl SEC Big 12 matchup has happened since all of the realignment, the college football playoff situation. And it's going to be a tough game, but Barry, you have to, if Mason Rudolph's healthy and you've got your defense rested, which to me that was the big thing late. That defense just so many plays, enough guys hurt over the course of the year. It just took a toll on them, and here they are with this rest, with a chance to get healthy, with feeling good. I like their chances. I agree. I think Ole Miss is going to be a good challenge, but I think OSU can go down there and do it. Now, what about Mason Rudolph? Is he going to be ready? I guess that's not really a question we can answer at this point.
No, but I'm skeptical. I mean, it just seems to me a guy coming off foot surgery is not likely to play 5-6 weeks later. So I think Cowboys have a great blessing in J.W. Walsh and the quarterback depth that he provides and has provided. Very good quarter. They can move ahead with J.W. Walsh and have a lot of confidence to do well in this game. So I don't know that Mason Rudolph will be ready, and I don't know that even if it's possible that the Cowboys would want to push him. So they've got options with J.W. Walsh. I think that's what they'll go with.
Yeah, you don't want to get into a situation where next season you're saying, man, we really shouldn't have played Mason Rudolph in that bowl because he got set back, and here he is again with this reoccurring injury. You want him to be 100%. Now, if they can deem that he is 100%, there's a reason he's the starter this year for the Cowboys. He's a better quarterback than J.W. Walsh. He gives them options in that offense that J.W. Walsh just can't. I thought Walsh played well in Bedlam. Probably better than if you'd have told me before the game and I'd given it some thought, how well is he going to play? I probably wouldn't have thought as well as he did, but clearly he's got shortcomings, especially when it comes to stretching the field, throwing the ball deep, being accurate in those ways. And so to me, that's where Mason Rudolph is ahead of him. And he's also a third down master. Let's not forget his third downs, unbelievable on third down. Mason Rudolph, I mean, on a down that you would think, the pressure's on, especially some longer distance situations with third down and OSU not having a run game. He has saved their bacon so many times this year. And that's just something J.W. Walsh doesn't have in his passing arsenal especially. So they're a better team with Rudolph, but as much as you want to win this bowl, you want to have your quarterback of the future ready to go next year, not mess around in a bowl game and possibly re-injure something. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we've sort of become experts on foot injuries around here. I mean, you go back to JW a year ago, gets knocked out second game of the year with the foot injury and sidelining him the whole year. Mm-hmm. Now the Kevin Durant, Des Bryant down in Dallas. We know that feet are not something you can really trifle with. Foot injuries, you got to be careful with. There's no reason to press it. If this was a national championship semifinal,
sure,
maybe you see what he can do. But
yeah.
My gut says Mason Rudolph doesn't play in New Orleans.